Hiya folks, we're back on the old Transit van again. This time we're going to be tackling the front outer sill and trying to sort this lot out, so I'll see you in a minute. Right, well, if you remember in the last video, we got the outer sill on, we put some new metal for the inner sill, and that's now spot welded in place. And that means now we've got to try and do something with this front under the step sill. So let's have a look at that. But I'll just show you what I've done. I've been doing a little bit of spot welding, filling in welds all along here. Someone did say in the comment section, oh, that's got to be seam welded and all that, and it's going to have to, it won't pass, will not pass an MOT. Well, I'm doing exactly the same here as I've done on the other side, and it flew through 3 MOT. So that's for that person there. I don't know who you are. I'm not a professional welder, as I said to you, but there's different ways to seam weld. When you're using very thin metal like this, what I found out, and it's not me talking, it's what I found out of other people. With thin sheet metal, it's easy to do the dot method, and what that tends to do is to allow you to don't overheat the panel and warp and distort the panel, because this metal is literally so thin that if you try to do a seam weld, you blow a hole straight through it. So by dot moving along, you're letting the area cool off, and then you come back, and what you tend to do is to fill in the gaps all the way along until basically you've near enough joined all the dots up and make a continuous weld. So that's the way of doing it. In an ideal weld, if it was a 1/4 inch thick or something like that, yeah, you can run a weld along that and no worries about blowing through. A lot different on thin metal like this, and that is the theory. The theory behind what you're saying is correct. Yes, you should seam weld something which is in a panel, for example, but as you know, the bottom part of this, let's show you this, for example, this would have been spot welded initially, as you know, because we drilled the spots out on this joining edge here, and all we've done here, for example, is reproduced what is on the factory. This part here, for example, as you can see, what you do, you fill in the dots all the way along, and then you're near enough got a seam there. So I'll just grind the top off of that, and we'll just run a finger of filler all the way down there, and that should be okay. Let me show you underneath to show you what I actually done underneath. Well, that's solid as a rock now. Look, it said you will lose its integrity. That's what the chap said. It won't have no strength whatsoever. Well, I hasten to disagree with you. On the Transit van also, the outer sill is not structural. Just a little side note there for you. I've been told that by other MOT testers. So as you can now see, I've gone in near enough virtually every sort of gap, so to speak, for that top lip there, and as you can see now, this was all totally missing there before. We've got a lovely solid inner wing now. Now again, I've saved money by using this old metal here, for example, and it's done a perfect job there, and I'm well happy with that. So what I'll do again is I could well grind all them off, I'm not really too bothered about it. I'll just put some seam sealer along there, and then we'll paint that as well. And I'm just going to use basic underseal on there, because all this wants cleaning down and undersealing as well. As you can see, look, it's all solid, to be honest with you. There's no real problem there. You've got surface rust, but all these membranes here are all solid, so I will get to do that hopefully once all this welding is actually done. But that's going to pass an MOT. There's no worries about that. Oh, but buddy boy who left that comment, I don't think you really know what you're talking about, mate, to be honest with you. That's as solid as a rock. And I've actually had other welders there who've made comments as well and said this is definitely a good enough job, and my welding's definitely improved since the last time I've done on the other part of the van, for example. So there you go. So let's move on to the front section now. So as you can probably see, this is the end of our new metal, what we've put in there. I've got this hole here to contend with here, so I'm probably just going to cut this bit straight out, so to speak. This is all solid, so I'm going to leave that, but that end bit at the end there obviously has got a big hole in it there, and I'm going to cut that out obviously, and then put a patch on that and somehow marry it up there. I'm not too sure yet. Again, I'm not an expert welder, I'm not a panel fabricator. I've got limited experience with this sort of work, and it's also done on my drive, on my back. So I'm going to clean all this up, as I say, cut this bit out as well, put a patch over that, and we've got to fabricate a new edge here for the seal to fit up to when I put the front seal on. So let's just hold it in place and see where we are from the outside. Right, so what I've actually done here is I've just cleaned that edge up there with a wire wheel. I've cut this, as you can see, I drew around that in the last video there, and also that one there, but I had to trim it up because it wasn't quite the right shape, and it still might need a bit of trimming up. But again, I've cleaned the metal along there. That's all been done with a grinder. So as I said to you, I'm going to cut a line down here and cut a line down under there and across, get this whole rotten bit out there, as you can see, and then we'll put some new metal in there. But let's hold this in place and see what you think. It needs adjustment. I did cut that in the wrong place, but again, not too worried, we can get over that, it's not a problem. And as I keep saying, I'm not a welder, I'm not a panel fabricator or anything like that. We're getting our van back on the road, basically. So what I've actually done with the tool here, the hole punching tool, I've gone along the whole of the top of the sill there, and also along the bottom there, and I've put all my holes in, probably about every 2 inches, same as before. And because I've not married that up correctly, there's a bit of a big gap there, so I've just punched some holes in this one, and this one I'm going to basically put an extra bit of metal in. So with this tool, this hole punching tool, if you actually spin the head around, let me do that, hold on, there we go, look. If you actually spin that head around, on the other side of it you've got this thing, which is why they call it, this is a joggling tool. And what that does, it gives you the ability to be able to put a stepped lip in sheet metal, thin sheet metal like this, for example. So let's say, for example, I hold that on there like that. Let's get you nearer. So I get that on there like that, and line up correctly, and then press, squeeze it in, and then work your way along. What this does, it forms a little lip. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Let me just zoom along here. Right, now what I've actually done there is to create a small lip that I can lay a panel on and seam weld along the top of the edge, for example, like there. You probably can't see it, but that would actually sit in there, as you can probably see. Look, yeah, and I could just seam weld along there. But because this comes up short, so to speak, as I say, this is a pattern part as well, like that, I'm going to put a little bit of metal in there, and I'm going to leave it long enough to sit behind this panel, and then I'll just spot weld through there. So I'll have a seam weld along there, and I'll be spot welding it along there. Skim a few over the top, you won't even know it's there. So before I put that into place, I just want to cut this old metal out here, and also the bit at the back there, and then I'll make some small panels to go in there, and we'll actually put this in and try and get it all welded in. So I'll see you after I've done that, and then we'll have a go at fitting this. See you in a minute. Right, okay, I've cut these two bits out there now. So what I'm going to do is just to clamp this in place and just see where we are with it. And all I'm going to do is just use mole grips and stuff just to get us near enough where we need to be. Now these are pattern panels, as I say, but you can never guarantee that they're going to fit perfectly. You might have to tweak them about a bit. Now that's not looking too far away, to be honest with you. But here, for example, I'll have to spot weld this in place and then sort of bring this forward a bit and then do what I've got to do here. So it seems to fit okay pretty much on the wheel arch. So as you can probably see, that can be tapped down a little bit there just to meet up with that. That's not a problem there. Coming along here, pretty much okay. That can just be tweaked open a little bit and that will push. Yeah, see, I've just moved it now. It's gone in the back there, look. I could just grind that down a little bit more. So this is a sort of small sort of fiddling about bits that you've got to sort and work with. There we go, something like that, look. See, gets a few spots in there maybe, and that'll probably be alright. It fits alright at the end of the wheel arch there, so coming along there is not a problem. Should be able to bridge them gaps there. Along there, yeah, we should be sort of okay there. Now this is where I was telling you about, look, it's got a bit of a big gap there, and that don't quite meet there. That's because this bit's actually a bit too short, so I'm not too worried about that. I can put a little piece in there. I'm going to cut that section out there, as you probably know. But yeah, the back end, if I show you the back end, all I've got to do is make up an inner part for that. So let's show you the inside there. So as you can see here, that's where I've cut that metal out now, so I'll be putting a plate in here. That's not too much of a problem. And here, all I need here, coming off this edge here, is an L bracket. Look, all the way along, a large L bracket. Just kicks down a little bit there, and that will give us a good fixing for our inner sill at the front there, and that's ideal. That's going to be ideal. As you can see, I've cut this away. It's still a bit in there. I will come down there with I only have my big grinder under here, you see, but I've got that little Dremel one. I'll just cut straight down there, get rid of that rot there, and I'll put a plate over there. That's solid metal there, believe it or not. As you can see, I've got nice clean metal there, which I can weld to. Clean metal at the top there, so I'll put a plate along there, finish it around there, and that'll make that solid again. Then I've got a hole at the front here, obviously, to sort out afterwards. It's all bits and pieces, as I say. We're just sort of manufacturing as we go along here. So the L bracket along here will finish there. That's the end of the angle there. That's where it originally finished there as well. So again, we're just making it up as we go along, and all that's needed here, as I say, is an L bracket. If this was all rotted, as you can see, I've got nice clean metal there, I would have had to come off of this face and then sort of L bracket like a kickback sort of thing, like we had further down. So, but we don't need that. I can use this here. Anyway, that's that. So I'm going to carry on messing about with this as well. It is a Sunday afternoon and my dinner's nearly ready, so I'm going to be having that as well. So I'll probably leave this video here for now. Just a little update, just to show you what I've been up to on a Sunday afternoon. I've been out here for about an hour and a half, I suppose, so, you know, if you're going to do all this in one go, that's probably the ideal. I don't need to do it all in one go, as I say. Plus, don't forget, I've also got to get the tools out. I've got to film, I've got to edit, I've got to do all that as well. So that's why the job takes me longer. But it's just giving you the insight. I get some great messages from people saying that, you know, they've got a Transit and they was told that their Transit's going to be uneconomical to repair, and they've gone out and bought a welder and done exactly the same thing after watching my videos. Because, you know, I am just a normal person. I am a welder at the end of the day. These are learnable skills, and I've actually improved in my welding through using this Transit as an experience for my welding more than anything. Because a lot of people say, why you bother doing it? You know, just scrap the van and go and get something else, like a Renault Traffic or a Vivaro or whatever. Well, that's not what the point of these videos are. The point of these videos is, one, to save you money, because the van's a good van. It doesn't need to be scrapped at the end of the day. It needs to be scrapped if you can't do this sort of stuff and you're going to be paying someone else to do it, because this can run into thousands and thousands of pounds repairing rust like I've done here, for example, especially with the other side. I had a quote initially when I first done the other side. I think it was about £900 to do that other side. That's before I found the extra rot, which I found. That was just the chassis welding, not the sill and all that around the other side. So that would have been about £1,200 to £1,500 worth of welding there. And now what with this stuff as well, that panel didn't cost us nothing on the inside, as you know. This sill cost £15. This sill I think cost about £17 or £18, this front step. And the rest is my learning curve at the end of the day. So anyway, hope you've enjoyed this little video. I'm going to carry on doing this, so the next time you see this step should be in, and we might be tackling the rear wheel arch and obviously these other little patches as well, to get them sorted out before we finally then can go along and do the other repairs I need to do, like the back door, for example. And we're going to be spraying the whole bottom part of this fan as well, as you probably know. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this little video. Just a little update vlog, this one, and I'll see you in the next video, and until then, bye for now.